reaction that we need to balance in an acid. And again, one of the first things I would like to do is to take a look at the oxidation states of each of the elements. And so we take a look at the first one, the sulfur and the copper. The sulfur is more electronegative, and so it's the one that should get all the electrons. And if it's going to get all the electrons, that means it's going to get the noble gas electron configuration. It's in group 6. It wants to be in group 8 as far as its electrons are concerned. So it's going to get a -2 charge, much like oxygen gets a -2 charge. Alright, so we get a -2 down there, and this has to equal a 0, so that means the copper must be a +2. Okay. The chlorine, let's take a look at the oxygen first. We get a -2 for the oxygen, that's a grand total of -6. We have to have a charge of -1, and therefore the chlorine must be a +5. On the product side, we have, again, copper sulfate. We know the charge of the sulfate, right? The sulfate's a -2. That means the copper is a +2. So we did not change the oxidation state of the copper. Therefore, we must have changed the oxidation state of something else. So the oxygen, again, is a -2, and that gives us a total of -8. That has to equal a 0. We get a +2 for the copper. That means the sulfur is a +6. So now we know what has changed oxidation states. The sulfur went from a -2 to a +6. The chlorine started off as a +5, and it has gone to a charge of -1. Alright, so now we can write our two half reactions. And really the copper, we could think of the copper as being a spectator ion here if we wanted to. We can leave it in, we can take it out, it really doesn't matter. So let me just take it out, and we'll start with one half reaction being S with a -2 charge going to SO4 with a 2- charge, right? So first we balance the elements that are not oxygen or hydrogen. That would be the sulfur, and they are balanced. Then you balance the oxygens, so we're going to need 4 waters again. 4 waters, and that means we're going to need 8 hydrogen ions in order to balance the hydrogens, and now we can balance the charge. So on the left hand side we have a -2, on the right hand side we have a +6. So the only way to get from -2 to +6 is by adding 8 electrons to this side. So now our right hand side is a -2, and our left hand side is a -2. That 8 electrons should make sense because the sulfur was going from a -2 to a +6, and so again that's a 8 electron shift. The other half reaction is the ClO3- going to Cl-. Again, the chlorines are balanced, so I don't need to worry about those. Oxygen is next. I'm going to need 3 water molecules, and then on the right hand or left hand side I'm going to need 6 H pluses. And so now the left hand side has a total of +5, and the right hand side is -1, so that is 6 electrons that I need. Alright, so one side has 8 electrons, one side has 6 electrons, and so the easiest way for me would be to go to a total of 24 electrons. So I'm going to have to multiply this side by 3, no, 24, I'm going to have to multiply that by 4. Sorry about that. We'll take that out and we'll put in a 4. This one we're going to have to multiply by 3. So that's going to give us 3 CuS's plus, let's see, 4 times, 3 times 4 waters is 12 waters. And then we have 4 times 6 electrons is 24 electrons. And 4 times 6 is 24 protons. And 4 times 1 is 4 ClO3 minuses, alright? So that's my reactants, my products. I've got 3 CuSO4s plus 3 times 8 is 24 protons plus 3 times 8 is 24 electrons, and we have have 4 times 6 is 24 electron. Oh, I did that already. What am I looking at? I'm looking at the products here, sorry. 4 times 1 is 4 chlorines, 4 chlorides, Cl minuses. And then lastly, 4 times 3 is 12 waters. Alright, so now I can cancel out like terms. I've got 12 waters on both sides. I've got 24 electrons on both sides. And again, if your electrons don't match, you have to start over again because they must match. And lastly, I got 24 protons on both sides, so those cancel out. That's going to give me, for my balanced overall reaction, 3 CuS's plus 4 ClO3s with a negative charge. That's going to give me 3 copper sulfates and 4 chlorides. So that is my balanced chemical equation.